My lovely students, welcome to Mathological. In this session, we'll be discussing modulus function, graph of modulus function, and transformation of functions. Yeah, transformation of graphs basically. Start करते हैं session को. And if you've not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe as well as press the bell icon. Or you can also join the Telegram or WhatsApp channel Mathological and can message me on Telegram at adityakt for any questions or queries. So first of all, let us discuss the basic graph of modulus function. So if f of x is equal to mod of x, then by definition, this mod of x, this is equal to x if x is greater than equal to 0, and this is equal to mod of x is equal to minus x if x is less than 0. अब देखो, अगर x नेगेटिव है तो माइनस एक्स हमारा क्या होगा? माइनस एक्स विल बी अ पॉजिटिव वैल्यू ऑब्वियसली, बिकॉज mod of x क्या है? mod of x is always the absolute value of x, always the magnitude of x, isn't it so? तो माइनस एक्स देखने पे नेगेटिव लग रहा है, बट सिंस x is negative, that is why minus x will be positive. So mod of x always is greater than equal to 0. So if we make simple a graph of y is equal to x, okay, this is the graph of y is equal to x. Then mod x का ग्राफ क्या होगा? On the positive side, this will be equal to x only, यानी कि this will be same as the graph of y is equal to x. But on the negative side, graph will be like this. So this is the graph of y is equal to mod of x. For x greater than equal to 0, it will be same as y is equal to x, and for x की negative value, this will be the mirror image of the graph of y is equal to x across x axis. Okay, so if this point here, this is minus 1 comma minus 1, graph on the point on the mod x will be minus 1 comma 1. And so, is that clear? Okay, now let us say we have to make another graph. We define another function, that is gx, and gx is mod of x plus 1. So what should be the graph of mod of x plus 1? Now we already know fx is equal to mod of x. We have defined that our function fx is mod of x. So can we say that mod of x plus 1 can also be written as fx plus 1? Isn't it so? और fx हमारा क्या है? Basically हर एक केस में हम क्या करें? फंक्शन क्या करता है हमारा? फंक्शन is basically like a machine. X is the input and f of x is the output. So if we are adding 1 to fx, then basically we are adding 1 to all the output values. So fx का हमारा graph was this mod of x graph. So we are adding 1 to that output. So our new graph will be 1 above the initial graph of mod of x. This is the graph of mod of x. So fx plus 1, or basically mod of x plus 1, in case of mod of x plus 1, we are adding 1 to all the values of mod of x. So all the points on mod of x will be rising upwards by 1 unit. So new graph for mod of x plus 1, this will be like this. This is the graph of mod of x plus 1. क्या ये clear है? Because we are increasing all the output values by 1 unit. अब यहीं पे हम एक और फंक्शन डिफाइन करें. लेट अस से दैट फंक्शन इज hx, एंड hx इज इक्वल टू mod of x plus 1. mod of x plus 1 यानी कि x plus 1 इनसाइड द मॉड्यूलस. तब ग्राफ कैसा बनेगा? पॉज द वीडियो और इसके बारे में सोचो कि यहाँ पे डिफरेंस क्या होगा. इफ hx इज इक्वल mod of x plus 1. अच्छा, इन केस ऑफ mod of x plus 1, mod of x is always greater than equal to 0. So mod of x plus 1, this value will always be greater than equal to 0 plus 1, यानी greater than equal to 1. Isn't it so? The minimum value will be 1, and that minimum value will be at minimum value of gx, minimum at x equal to 0, and that minimum value will be equal to 1. अच्छा, in case of hx में हमारा mod is outside x plus 1, यानी कि x plus 1 पे मॉडुलस लगा है, मॉडुलस ऑफ x plus 1. So this will always be, hx will always be greater than equal to 0. 0 कब होगा? 0 तब होगा when x plus 1 will be equal to 0. हमारा mod of x 0 कब होता है? When x is 0. तो mod of x plus 1 will be 0 at x plus 1 equal to 0. or basically at x equal to -1. Isn't it so? The graph will be in shape similar to mod of x, but it will be 0 at x equal to -1. So this graph will be like this. This graph is for mod of x plus 1. So this graph will be similar to mod of x plus 1 when x is greater than or equal to 0. But in other sections it will be different. जब हमारा x पॉजिटिव होगा तो सिमिलर ही ग्राफ है हमारा इन बोथ केसेस. ठीक है, फॉर x greater than 0 or greater than or equal to 0, mod of x plus 1 is same as mod of x plus 1. Because x in itself is positive, तो mod of x कैसे ओपन होगा? This will be equal to x plus 1. Right hand side will also be x plus 1 because x itself is positive. तो x plus 1 का modulus x plus 1 भी positive होगा, तो that will also open with the positive sign. So both left hand side as well as right hand side will be equal. And that is why the graph will be same. क्या ये अप्रिशिएट कर पा रहे हो? बट दोनों में एक डिफरेंस है जो समझना है, जो अप्रिशिएट करोगे जब आगे हम अच्छे ग्राफ्स को देखेंगे. देखो यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया, इन केस ऑफ gx our gx was mod of x plus 1. So that was fx plus 1 if our fx is defined as mod of x. But in case of h of x is mod of x plus 1. Isn't it so? So if we observe this in comparison to graph of f of x, can we write this graph if fx is mod of x, तो f of x plus 1 क्या होगा? f of x plus 1 will be mod of x plus 1. So this is nothing but f of x plus 1 only. यही तो है. तो hx is equal to f of x plus 1. क्यों इस तरह से समझ रहे हैं? Because in this case क्या हो रहा है हमारा, f of x plus 1 implies that input is x plus 1 in case of x. In this graph, in the graph of hx, our input is not x but x plus 1. Our input has increased by 1 unit. Isn't it so? तो अगर input हमारा 1 unit से increase किया है, तो what will be the difference on the graph? What will be the difference on the graph? If our input has increased by 1 unit, in such a case, our graph will be shifting on the left hand side by 1 unit. If our input has changed from x to x plus 1, so our graph will be shifting to left hand side by 1 unit. If our output has increased by 1 unit, as in the case of gx, then our graph will be shifting upwards by 1 unit. Output अगर 1 unit से increase करेगा upwards by 1 unit, output decrease करेगा 1 unit से downwards by 1 unit, input increase करेगा 1 unit से, so left shift by 1 unit, and input if decreases by 1 unit, then right shift by 1 unit. अच्छा, काउंटर इंट्यूटिव थोड़ा सा लग सकता है इनपुट वाले केस में कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है कि जब x में 1 इंक्रीज हो रहा है तो राइट में शिफ्ट होना चाहिए, ऐसा दिमाग में आ सकता है. बट देखो लॉजिक क्या है यहाँ पे, ये समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि why the graph is shifting on the left hand side by 1 unit when the input is increasing by 1 unit. So what is happening if f of x plus 1 in case of x initially fx था, so fx से f of x plus 1 यानी कि input has increased by 1 unit. So initially 0 कहाँ पे था? Initially 0 was value of f0. f0 कहाँ पे आएगा if we are shifting from fx to f of x plus 1. So in case of fx, f0 कहाँ पे आएगा? f0 will be at x equal to 0. But in this case f0 कहाँ पे आएगा? f0 will be when x plus 1 is 0, यानी कि at x equal to -1. Can you see that the 0 is shifting from x equal to 0 to x equal to -1, यानी कि leftward shift कर रहा है. That is why our graph will be shifting leftwards only. क्या ये बात appreciate कर पा रहे हो कि when input is increasing by 1 unit, graph will be shifting leftward, or any number of units, तो graph will be shifting leftwards. If input is decreasing by n number of units, in that case graph will be shifting rightwards. तो इन बातों को summarize करते हैं quickly. ठीक है, ये बात अगर समझ में आ गई है तो summarize करते हैं. If in general our function y is f of x plus minus k, where k is a positive number. So in such a case, if there is a plus addition, graph will be shifting upwards. If there is subtraction, the graph will be shifting downwards. If instead our graph is y is equal to f of x plus minus k, यानी कि change in input. So if addition, the graph will be shifting leftwards by k units. Or if subtraction, then graph will be shifting right by k units. ठीक है, यहाँ भी up by k units and down by k units. And most important that k must be a positive value. Because अगर k ही नेगेटिव हो गया तो मामला उल्टा हो गया ना, फिर वो एडिशन थोड़ी सब्ट्रैक्शन है. ठीक है, so that is why k must be a positive value. इज दैट क्लियर? ओके, आगे बढ़ते हैं, नेक्स्ट एग्जांपल्स लेते हैं। यहाँ तक चीज़ें क्लियर है? तो लेट अस से हमारा एक ग्राफ है, रैंडम ग्राफ लेते हैं, कुछ रैंडम सा ग्राफ बनाते हैं और फिर उस पर कुछ लर्निंग लेते हैं। लेट अस से दिस इज आवर ग्राफ, बनाते हैं एफ का कुछ रैंडम सा। लेट अस से दिस इज आवर एफ ऑफ एक्स। नाउ वी नीड टू मेक टू ग्राफ्स, वन विल बी let us say h of x, that is equal to f of mod of x, and our second graph will be g of x, that will be mod of fx. Now pause the video, simple graphs. Try to form the graphs of hx and gx as per the graph of fx. If the graph of fx is given as such, so what will be graph of hx and what will be graph of gx? So first of all, let us try to make graph of h of x. ठीक है, h of x is f of mod of x. इनपुट पे हमने ऑपरेशन किया है, इनपुट का मॉड्यूलस लिया है f of mod of x. ठीक है, सो इफ f of mod of x कैसे ओपन होगा? दिस विल बी इक्वल टू f of x if x is greater than equal to 0, and this will be equal to f of minus x if x is negative. Again minus x दिख रहा है, but since x is negative तो minus x will be positive. So for example, if we take f of minus 2, f of minus 2, f of mod of minus 2, ठीक है, h of minus 2 लेते हैं पहले. h of minus 2 will be f of mod of minus 2, which is equal to f of 2 only. h of minus 2 will be equal to f of 2 only, or h of 2 will also be equal to f of 2 only. h of 2 as well as h of minus 2 both are equal, or in general h of minus x will be same as h of x, because both will be equal to f of x. So since h of minus x is equal to h of x, so this will be an even function, isn't it so? यानी कि h of x will be an even function, and even function की property क्या होगा? It will be symmetric around y axis, यानी कि y axis के राइट हैंड साइड पे जो ग्राफ होगा, सेम ग्राफ विल बी ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. लेफ्ट हैंड साइड का ग्राफ विल बी सेम एज दैट ऑफ द राइट हैंड साइड वाला ग्राफ, यानी कि लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में जो है वही, सॉरी राइट हैंड साइड में जो ग्राफ है वही सेम लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में भी हमें बना देना है, एज सिंपल एज दैट. लेफ्ट हैंड साइड वाला पूरा का पूरा ग्राफ जो एफ एक्स का है उससे हमें कोई मतलब नहीं है, बिकॉज एफ ऑफ माइनस टू की वैल्यू हमें कहीं पे पड़ेगी ही नहीं जरूरत, एफ ऑफ माइनस थ्री की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. एफ ऑफ जब हमें एच ऑफ माइनस टू निकालना होगा तो एच ऑफ माइनस टू विल बी इक्वल टू एफ ऑफ टू ओनली, विल ओनली बी कंसर्न विद द एफ ऑफ पॉजिटिव वैल्यूज, इजंट इट सो? इवन ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड का ग्राफ भी सेम आ जाएगा हमारा राइट हैंड साइड की तरह. तो ग्राफ विल बी बेसिकली y axis will be acting as a mirror, so left hand side का ग्राफ will be same as the right hand side. थोड़ा सा समझ जाना कि मिरर है, ठीक है. सो दिस इज अवर ग्राफ ऑफ h of x in red. Now let us make the graph of g of x, and gx is mod of fx. तो बेसिकली आउटपुट पे हम ऑपरेशन कर रहे हैं, fx को पॉजिटिव कर रहे हैं, यानी कि mod of fx will open as fx if fx is greater than equal to 0, and if fx is negative, in such a case this will be minus of fx. तो एफ एक्स जहाँ पे निगेटिव होगा वहाँ पे पॉजिटिव कर देंगे, जहाँ पॉजिटिव वहाँ पॉजिटिव ही रहेगा, एज सिंपल एज दैट. सो इन सच ए केस हमारा ग्राफ कैसा फॉर्म होगा? एफ एक्स इन दिस रीजन इज पॉजिटिव, so the graph will be same as the given graph. In this portion between these two values, fx is negative, so mod of fx will be positive. Mod of x will be positive. Now again fx is positive in this region, the graph will be same as this. After this the graph is negative, so this graph here, this will be like this. So this will be the graph in green. This will be the graph for gx. क्या ये अप्रिशिएट कर पा रहे हो? इज द मेथड क्लियर? ठीक है. तो इन दिस मैनर वी कैन मेक एनी ग्राफ व्हाट्सएवर अगर हमें गिवन होगा. सो मॉड ऑफ एफ एक्स भी फाइंड आउट कर लेंगे, एफ ऑफ मॉड एक्स भी फाइंड आउट कर लेंगे. ओके, लेट अस मेक अ फ्यू एडिशनल ग्राफ्स. Let's say we are making a graph of mod of x plus 2 minus 3. If this is our f of x, then we have to make the graph of mod of x plus 2 minus 3 का modulus of mod of x plus 2 minus 3. So how will we make such a graph? अब ऐसे केस में क्या करेंगे, या तो हम केसेस बनाएं कि x लेस देन -2 ग्रेटर देन -2 ओपन करें, उस हिसाब से तामझाम करें. अदरवाइज क्या कर सकते हैं इन सच ए केस, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट अस मेक अ सिंपल ग्राफ ऑफ mod of x plus 2. ठीक है, at first we'll be making the graph of mod of x plus 2. Then we'll be subtracting 3 from mod of x plus 2, and then finally we'll be taking modulus of this whole value. So first of all, mod of x plus 2 का ग्राफ कैसा होगा? Similar to graph of mod of x, the only difference is that it will be 0 at x equal to -2. और mod of x का ग्राफ shifted leftward by 2 units. So this will be graph of mod of x plus 2. Now we have to subtract 3 from mod of x plus 2. Now since we are subtracting 3 from the output, mod of x plus 2 is always greater than or equal to 0. So mod of x plus 2 minus 3, we are subtracting 3 from all the values. So this whole expression mod of x plus 2 minus 3, this will be greater than or equal to 0 minus 3. नहीं, greater than or equal to minus 3 होगा. सारी values 3 से subtract हो जाएंगे. So whole graph will be shifting downwards by 3 units. So this will be the new graph. Zero कहाँ पे आएगा? It will be 0 when mod of x plus 2 is equal to 3, because 3 minus 3 will be equal to 0. mod of x plus 3 का x plus 2 3 कब आएगा? x की -2 से डिस्टेंस 3 चाहिए, तो -2 plus 3 यानी कि +1, -2 -3 यानी कि -5, तो -5 and +1, at -5 and at +1 our graph will be cutting x-axis. So this is our graph for mod of x plus 2 minus 3. Now we have to finally put another modulus on this graph. So on portions where the graph is already positive, there will be no change whatsoever, which is on the right hand side of +1 and on the left hand side of -5. And between these two values, since mod of x plus 2 minus 3, that is negative, so that will be shifting to positive side. The shape of the graph will be W. This graph in green, this is our graph of mod of x plus 2 minus 3 modulus on the whole or mod of fx. Is that clear? ठीक है, क्या appreciate कर पा रहे हो? Okay, let us make another graph जो देखने में थोड़ा सा खतरनाक लग सकता है, बट क्वेश्चन सिंपल होगा. एक बार जब हम समझेंगे तो मामला आसान हो जाएगा. लेट अस से वी आर डिफाइनिंग दैट जी एक्स इज इक्वल टू mod of x minus 1 plus 2 modulus plus 3 modulus. So this is our function gx and we need to draw graph for this. Okay, तो कैसे ग्राफ ड्रॉ होगा इसका? Before drawing the graph, let us simplify, let us understand a few concepts. Let us say we have mod of -5. ठीक है, if we are adding 1 to this and then we are further taking modulus, तो वैल्यू क्या आएगा? Mod of -5 will be nothing but 5 only. So mod of 5 plus 1, this will be equal to 6. But otherwise also we know that mod of -5 या -5 के बजाय कोई भी unknown value भी होगा, so modulus of any value will always be greater than equal to 0. So if we are adding something to something which is already either 0 or positive, so modulus will always open, यानी कि this modulus will always open with a positive sign because the value inside is always positive, isn't it? So we are adding something to something which is already greater than equal to 0. So this modulus will always open with a positive sign, isn't it? So clearly if you observe this wala modulus, focus on this only, isn't this always greater than equal to 0? Modulus है तो greater than equal to 0 तो होगा ही होगा. And then we are adding something. अगर सब्ट्रैक्ट करते तब सेम बात नहीं होता, क्योंकि बिकॉज इफ आई सब्ट्रैक्टिंग समथिंग देन इट माइट बी पॉजिटिव, इट माइट बी जीरो, इट माइट बी नेगेटिव, so all three cases are possible. But if we are adding some positive value, then definitely this whole expression will always be greater than equal to 0 plus 3, greater than equal to 3 होगा. So this will always open with the positive sign, यानी कि this is same as, बाहर के मॉड को पूरा हटा दो, mod of x minus 1 plus 2 plus 3. Now apply the same logic on this portion. Hey, this is also greater than equal to 0 because modulus hai. Then we are adding 2 additionally. So this whole expression inside is always greater than equal to 2. So this will open with a positive sign. Okay, this will be same as mod of x minus 1 plus 2 plus 3. So plus 5 हो गया basically. So mod of x minus 1 plus 5. This is our graph simplified for gx. अब ये ग्राफ तो बना लोगे, इसमें तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. mod of x minus 1 का ग्राफ ड्रॉ करना है और फिर 5 यूनिट्स उसको अपवर्ड शिफ्ट कर देंगे. तो mod of x minus 1 का ग्राफ कैसा बनेगा? राइट हैंड साइड with 1 unit and then we have to shift the graph upwards by 5 units. दोनों काम एक साथ ही कर देते हैं. ठीक है, अगर अलग अलग स्टेप्स में करते हैं, पहले mod of x minus 1 ड्रॉ करते हैं, देन 5 units upwards करते हैं, एक साथ ही कर देते हैं. This will be our graph, shape of gx. Is it clear? ठीक है, क्लियर है क्या? ये अप्रिशिएट कर पा रहे हो, समझ पा रहे हो? और अगर समझ में आई ये चीज़ें तो कमेंट वगैरह जरूर मेंशन करना कि यस एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर. Let's just take a few transformation examples on some other graph for better clarity. Okay, let us say we know the graph of y is equal to x cube. X cube is an odd function. This is the graph of y is equal to x cube. Okay, now let us say we have to make the graph of y is equal to x cube plus 5. First graph, simple graph, x cube plus 5. Since we are adding 5, so this will be shifting by 5 units upwards. So the graph will be like this. This is x cube plus 5. This here will be 0, 5 because this distance, this will be 5 units. So what will be this value? Where will this graph cut? X-axis. At that value where x cube is equal to minus 5, because x cube plus 5 is equal to 0. This implies that x cube plus 5, because y value at this value is equal to 0, x cube will be equal to minus 5. Like x will be equal to minus 5 to the power 1 by 3. So this value here is, this is not equal to minus 5 comma 0. This is minus 5 to the power 1 by 3. X coordinate and right coordinate is 0. So this is minus 5 by 5 to the power 1 by 3 comma 0. Is that clear? So this was our first graph. The second graph we can take mod of x cube plus 5, mod of x whole cube plus 5. कैसा ग्राफ ड्रॉ होगा यहाँ पे? mod of x whole cube plus 5. So in any such case, mod of x cube will be same as x cube with modulus. These two are exactly same. Or in general, mod of x to the power n, this will be same as x to the power n inside modulus. Both these things are equal. पहले पॉजिटिव बना लो, उसके बाद में पावर डालो, ठीक है, या फिर पहले पावर की वैल्यू निकाल लो, उसके बाद में फिर मॉडुलस अप्लाई करो. बोथ थिंग्स आर एग्जैक्टली द सेम. सो वी कैन राइट दिस एज mod of x क्यूब प्लस 5. एक्स क्यूब का ग्राफ तो हमें पता ही है, पहले मॉडुलस का ग्राफ बना लो एंड देन एड 5 ऑन ऑल वैल्यूज. So this will be graph of mod of x cube, then add 5 on all the values. So this graph will be like this. Mod of x cube plus 5. Okay. Okay. Similarly, if we had to make another graph, let us say that graph was fresh page पे करते हैं, third graph, mod of x cube plus 5. So in such a case, we'll be first making graph of x cube plus 5, which we had already made in this case, and then we'll be taking modulus of that. So x cube plus 5 का graph तो already drawn है, so modulus of that. Okay, so this graph will be, in case of x cube plus 5, this will be shifting leftwards by 5 units. Graph of x cube shifted leftwards by 5 units, which will be like this. And then we are taking modulus. So all the negative values of the output will be changing to positive values. This will be the graph of mod of x cube plus 5. Okay. अगर हमें जस्ट इन केस ग्राफ फाइंड आउट करना होता, ग्राफ बनाना होता फॉर y इज इक्वल टू मॉड ऑफ 5 माइनस एक्स क्यूब, मॉड ऑफ 5 माइनस एक्स क्यूब, तो आप कैसे ड्रॉ करते? वन वे कुड हैव बीन to first draw the graph of x cube, then draw the graph of minus x cube. All the positive values will be changing to shifting to negative values, all the negative values will be shifting to positive values, and then we can add 5, so 5 minus x cube, and finally we'll be taking modulus. But this will be a longer method. Simpler thing to understand here could be, देखो mod of minus 5 is same as mod of 5, or we can say mod of minus x is same as mod of x, isn't it so? So can we write that mod of 5 minus x cube will be same as mod of x cube minus 5? And now the graph is comparatively easier, because we can make the graph of x cube minus 5 and then we can take mod of that. दोनों ही प्रोसेस हमारा इन द एंड ग्राफ सेम ही बनेगा. फर्स्ट विल मेकिंग ग्राफ ऑफ x cube minus 5, यानी कि x cube का ग्राफ विल बी शिफ्टिंग राइटवर्ड्स बाय 5 यूनिट्स. So the graph will be somewhat like this, and then we'll be taking modulus. So the graph will be like this only. Okay. Is that clear? तो इतना ही रखते हैं सेशन में, और नेक्स्ट सेशन वी डूइंग सम मोर इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन ग्राफ्स. आई बिलीव जो भी डिस्कस किया सेशन में, एवरीथिंग यू मस्ट हैव अंडरस्टूड. कहीं पे भी कोई डाउट रहता है तो मेक श्योर टू कमेंट अबाउट दैट डाउट विद द टाइम स्टैम्प, so that it is easy for me to answer your query. Okay, that is all for this session. Bye bye, take care, keep learning, and rest of the questions in the next session. Take care.